Welcome one and all to another session on Journalist Hangout, and it's a midweek edition. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, President Buhari vows that Ran attack won't happen again. He says Boko Haram no longer a serious fighting force. JAMB official makes U-turn, says 36 million naira not swallowed by snake, but collected by senior officials, and later on we'll tell you this. Federal government to prosecute tax offenders or tax evaders with special courts identifies 130,000 high-profile tax offenders. I'll be hanging out this evening with Sam Ibemere. Sam, I greet you. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Majid is here. Welcome, Majid Jamiu.
Good evening, viewers.
Not forgetting the resident president, Babajide Kolade Otitojo. I greet you, Jide.
I greet you.
Okay, then. We are ready. I hope you are. And a frightening reality about terrorism is that it's becoming increasingly difficult to police. Again, the definition is so fluid. Every security analyst in this country believes he or she is a counterterrorism expert. But President Muhammadu Buhari has vowed that the abduction of schoolgirls Abdapchi and mindless attack on Ran that claimed lives of humanitarian workers would not be allowed to recur. Jide, in Hitting the Road, Mr. President must be privy to intel reports that's not available to many of us.
Yes, I only hope that is the truth that they present to this president most of the time as security reports, because as we have seen with what happened in the oil sector, public officials take delight in lying to Nigerians. We've seen now that the scarcity that happened in December was not caused by hoarding or diversion.
Was not artificial.
Was not artificial in any way.
Was real.
It was acute, or what I like to describe as supply disequilibrium. And the Minister of State for Petroleum admitted that before the Senate. So those who went to town trying to show that they are experts at defending the government, lying that, oh, it's diversion. The GMD of NNPC, who went even to the Senate to say about 4,500 trucks got missing or diverted. But
this is not to play that down.
No. It didn't happen. Right there in the Senate chambers, the president of the tanker drivers said, look, you are wrong. It is not possible to divert more than 4,000 trucks within that short space. What happened if the tagging of trucks, about 4,500 trucks, didn't happen? It was because the NNPC said, no, let's not wait for this tagging. Let's just go straight to filling station to discharge. Yes, because there was so much problem. So now we see clearly that the NNPC projected that the Nigerians don't need more than 30 million a day at that time. Today, the same NNPC has come out to tell us that daily consumption has actually reached 50 million. Yeah. So if you are telling me in March that daily production has reached 50 million, then the question to ask yourself is, at the peak of the problem in December, what was the level of consumption? So it was a problem.
So we take this home now.
Yes, so what I'm trying to say is that sometimes or many times they do not tell our president the truth. And that's why the president will read a speech on New Year's Day attacking some imaginary people that, oh, they were hoarding petroleum products. But as I always say, truth is a gentleman.
And constant.
In the fullness of time, the truth will be known. So talking about Boko Haram, I think the truth is self-evident that Boko Haram has not been defeated. Boko Haram today in Borno State, Boko Haram does not control a single local government headquarters. But in the hinterland, just step out of those local government headquarters, you know that your life is not safe. So, and that is the way it is.
But Boko Haram has, or possibly has been crippled, won't you say?
We do not quarrel with saying crippled, degraded. We do not quarrel with that. What we quarrel with is saying you've defeated the enemy when the enemy has shown the capacity to take the battle to the armies. They've gone to army barracks to chase soldiers away, to loot weapons of soldiers. They've gone to army barracks to steal trucks. This last one, they took away an APC. They've gone to Dapchi to take away 110 innocent girls. And the record shows that there were more Boko Haram attacks in 2017 than in 2016. So you can't say the battle has been won.
Jamil, and conspiracy theorists are in season. They are taking us back to April 14, 2014, and now February 19, 2018. They're saying these things are similar. Sometimes you don't know what to believe.
Yeah, when something happens once, you say it's happenstance. It happens twice, you say there is a similarity. But it keeps occurring, and it becomes enemy action. What I see with the Boko Haram attacks are enemy actions. But then you want to liken, why is it that we are just about a year to general elections, and these kind of things are happening? The same way it happened in 2014.
That's not a conspiracy theory.
You might say...
No, I'm not saying it is
yes,
not.
It is not a conspiracy theory, but then you want to look at it. The other one happened a year before the general elections, and this one is happening a year before elections. And if we are a serious country, that happened then, and there was so much outcry. Some of these girls are still in, I mean, like more than half of them are still in captivity, the Chibok girls. We ought to have prevented such an occurrence. And from what investigations that we are gathering, we revealed that there was actually a warning that this kind of thing could happen, which means we ought to have taken precautions. We have said it severally on this program that each time the military or army spokesperson goes out to say Boko Haram has been defeated, these guys come back to show that they are still in charge. So, fine, you can go out with some languages, some adjectives that they've been technically defeated, they've been subdued, but not say they have been defeated. They don't like hearing such. And since we don't, you don't win war against terrorism in a day.
Ask America.
Yes, even Al-Qaeda, despite the death of Osama bin Laden, I mean, we have seen ISIS and all of them, they are offshoots of Al-Qaeda. They keep transforming into, even Boko Haram has some links to some of these characters at a point. So you don't, you see, it's not a battle that you win, especially with the size of Sambisa Poret, with the size of Borno State. There's no way we can effectively man. We don't have that military operatives that could man effectively that space. So
we'll always talk about intel,
intelligence gathering, and there are some things you don't even say out as part of your strategy.
That's it.
I mean, there are some things that infuriates these guys. They monitor these things. They know where to strike. Each time you say you have defeated them, you have in about a week or thereabouts, they strike to show you that something terrible
puncture
will
your
happen.
balloon.
That is it, to puncture your balloon, so to say.
Sam, yes. All a terrorist group needs is to score the bull's eyes once, and then they make the point.
Yes.
We're there, won't you say?
Exactly.
That's
so.
Reconciling that with what Mr. President is saying or had been told.
Yeah, talking about scoring or hitting the bull's eye, you would want to agree that the Dapchi incident is one clear example of that. And the question that has often been asked is, did we learn from the past? You might want to recall the Chibok incident, where over 200, or is it 300 now, students, female students were also picked up. The promise that was made by Mr. President as to not having a repeat of this in the future, I take it with a pinch of salt. I'm not very confident that this kind of atrocity that was committed against the state will not repeat itself. And that is because there is nothing really very concrete on the ground to suggest that the leadership has learned from the past. So if you ask me, I think there is need to do a lot more. There have been cases of promises made in the past and not being kept. We don't want to go into all that now. There is this belief too that Mr. President is slow to taking action on a lot of issues. When the RAN incident, the first time, we had RAN in the news, it was about the Air Force, mistakenly, hitting the civilian population. Yeah. And what the president said then was that this is a regrettable operational mistake. That was January 17, 2017. That's over 1 year. Did we learn from it? Probably no. And then we had Andaran just a couple of weeks back, where the terrorists stole in the middle of the night and took away 100-something girls, 110 girls, admittedly, drove kilometers.
Unchallenged.
Unchallenged. And then you wonder, in that kind of environment where there is war, you never had military checkpoints, unlike what obtained somewhere else in the country. And people are asking questions. If the military wasn't, didn't think about it, then it shows that something is wrong. And then we had the blames and counter-blames and all that. So I think there is a huge gap in terms of cooperation between and among the armed forces, those who have been...
The security agencies
the security agencies. So personally, I think that Mr. President's promise that we're not going to have this kind of experience in the future is neither here nor there. And that is because if we look at what had happened in the past, we don't seem to be ready to learn from our mistakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. JD, 17 days on, the Dapchi girls are still in captivity. If we go there briefly, we are told about the escapades of Mama Boko Haram.
Yes.
Has agreed, it says from reports, she knows where they are and blah, 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 and so on.
She doesn't know where they are. She knows who took them.
Okay. Okay, I'm following reports too.
Oh.
So at a time like this, information management is key. And Mr. President had talked about opinion leaders and journalists at a time like this helping to mold a new trend of opinion regarding this, because it must be all hands on deck, Jide.
Yes, I think it's important that the press plays a key role. As Nigerians, we must also behave as patriots. For example, the president said something in Taraba that impressed me. Yeah, he directed the security forces to arrest any Fulani wielding an assault weapon. I think this is significant because before now, many people felt the president was supporting these headsmen because we come from their tribe.
He used the word perception. So
Yeah,
it was Jamil, perception.
Many people, that's how many people think. I don't think that way because I know the president may be slow at taking action, but I know that he can be very firm when he wants to be. Nigerians should now challenge their security forces, because if the president has given them that mandate and he gave the mandate publicly at a public gathering, that wherever you find any Fulani headsman carrying an assault weapon, arrest him and ensure his prosecution with maximum speed. So I think that is significant enough. Policemen don't need to be told now before they arrest these criminals. They don't need to be told. Because, look, all the killings are an embarrassment to our nation. An embarrassment. Today they are killing in Adamawa. Today it is Kaduna. It has to stop. And the president has said, arrest anyone that you find him carrying those weapons and make sure that that person is put on trial. I want to believe that that is what the president meant, what he said. Now our people, the security forces, must carry out the instruction of the president. You can't say because you come from a part of Nigeria, then when you see a Nigerian trampling on our laws, then you do, as a security operative, you do not take action. You must take action. If you do not take action, then you are an irresponsible Nigerian. We can't blame the president for everything. Where he gives instruction like this, because he's the commander-in-chief, is not the fighter-in-chief or the warrior-in-chief. He can't go to the battlefield to fight all by himself. So it is the security people that we will use to ensure that what happened in Iran doesn't happen again. I align with him, with Bemere. I do not believe that that kind of thing can happen again, for the simple reason that Boko Haram takes time to launch attacks. What happened in Iran, there was a police post attached to the IDP camp. What they do usually is they do their normal intelligence gathering. They come around on bikes. You will not know that they are fighters. Yeah. They look at they observe the situation. They will now determine how many fighters they need to overwhelm our soldiers. Yeah. Between December and November, Boko Haram attacked no less than 5 to 6 military formations, stealing weapons in our country. So, and on all occasions, the ones that I've talked about here, Sasawa and others, where they killed soldiers, they overwhelmed our soldiers. They left with weapons. So in the case of Iran, they knew that, yes, we had a military base, we had some soldiers, but witnesses have said that they came with about 120 fighters. So if you come with 120 fighters and all of them carrying the same weapons that our soldiers are carrying, which is the AK-47, there is no way they will not overwhelm them. That's why I tell people that even the Dapchi abduction, even if you put security people in that school, the abduction could still have happened, because in Chibok there were soldiers guiding the school, but they came in lorry loads of fighters. Yeah. So they chased away the people who were there.
JAMB, that picture, lorry loads of fighters, paint the mental picture without any interruption. You know, takes us back to the conspiracy theory table. It is said at a time like this, there are people who reap bountifully from the whole
there have been
people will reap from the situation we're in.
Yes. There have been claims and counterclaims of some checkpoints being dismantled or being withdrawn a week prior to the Dapchi incident. I mean, there have been claims and counterclaims, but then you want to look at the logistics of moving 110 girls, like how many hours these people spend there, even with the military there. What time do they need, those who are on ground, to call for enforcement? And when that kind of thing happened, what is the response time for help or backup to come? You look at all these things and you see, you come around with some lapses in our security system. And for the fact that, I keep saying this is not the first time this kind of thing is happening. That of Chibok is still an embarrassment, and that of Dapchi is a further compound.
It's a bigger embarrassment.
It's a bigger embarrassment.
Yeah.
And we expected that. You see, 110 girls. These people, oftentimes they don't come. They come with Hilux vans.
And you couldn't have headed 100 girls into 4 or 5 Hilux.
You will need at least. You will need at
No,
least.
not Hilux alone.
Yeah.
Bigger trucks.
They have some bigger trucks, but even at that, at least.
But that's an organized thing.
Yes, and it also means that they came with their own fighters. I mean, about some eyewitness account says they are about 120. So they will still need space, which means their convoy will be about 20.
Long convoy.
Yeah.
Long convoy.
Long convoy. So
Unchallenged.
unchallenged. So, I mean, this raises questions, and even if they entered a bush or if they entered anywhere, there must be a trail. Does it mean that
We have relaxed. You go to Abuja all the time. In those days, if you were coming from the airport, you knew how many checkpoints.
Checkpoints, you see.
Are they there now?
in Abuja, maybe
Are they there now?
just 1 point now in Abuja? So
We have relaxed security.
Even Abuja, I won't be surprised if that kind of thing happens.
If
in
they
Abuja.
want to launch
If they
an
want to-
attack in Abuja, they will succeed.
Honestly.
Because the checkpoints that we used to have in 2014, 2015,
have
they
disappeared.
have gone.
No longer there.
So it's a serious problem, and we keep saying that
relaxed.
what we need is serious security strategy. I mean, I hear a lot of security consultants on radio and television on a daily basis, but
I talked about it at the beginning. Everybody is an expert.
and everybody
a
has
counterterrorism expert.
become an expert.
Sam,
But we're not finding solutions.
the occasion was auspicious enough. We are talking about the National Defense College, and the theme, fighting tomorrow's warfare today. The president was represented by his number 2 man, and so that's taking the message home.
Yeah.
At a time like this, what would you, if you were there, what would you have told the security chiefs?
That's a very tough one.
Yeah.
Without
Work harder.
without a military background. But I think that.
Sorry, Sam, just hold on. Okay. I hear Lawrence is here. Lawrence is here in Lagos. How are you, Lawrence? Welcome.
Joe, how are you?
I greet you. I'm fine.
Yeah, also. So that's all the air. You traveled.
Who? Me?
I mean, Jide.
Huh?
He was out of town. Jide was out of town. So he's back here. Let's go. Time.
People should try and eat the nail of it. Why are we not being to undercover the operator in this country? Why is it that when an airport plane takes off for attack an enemy, it will be announced? If you are coming to attack you, you tell me that I prepare for you, or I know how to hide for you getting me. Then
Okay.
Is telling us that what has happened actually will not repeat itself. The military authorities are telling us that Boko Haram has traded, has found this and this. What am I saying? There are operations. There are some weak military to take part which will not be known to Nigerians. If I will give me time. When America plans to attack Iran.
Lawrence, you are only being a caller. We have an analyst here, but what you said, we got it first time. Thank you. Sam, rather.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam. I'll make it a lot easier.
Okay.
The occasion, National Defense College, fighting tomorrow's warfare today, the theme. If you had to present a paper there, what could you have said at a place like that?
Fighting tomorrow's warfare today simply takes us back to the issue of technology. The future is about technology. And if you look at our security architecture, we're probably looking at numbers. We think that putting more men on the ground is going to do the job. But advanced societies have come to terms with the fact that you could prosecute strategic wars by using technology. And I think that that is where we need to do a lot of investment. So if I had the opportunity of speaking to the military, I would be recommending that a lot be done in terms of investing in technology. Things that can help us prosecute wars without throwing too many men, on the war front. I think that is key. And I don't see any society going back to the old where you have to carry a Mark IV, to the war front. The Americans, in fact, citing the American example is taking it too far. even lesser developed societies. You can have...
South Africa.
Yeah. You could put up 2 aircrafts and then you take out an entire community. Just 2 fighters operating probably some of the most advanced warplanes. So I think...
Talk about drones and so on.
Yeah, so yeah. I think that...
But this is a different kind of enemy.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to get there. So that's very important. But just like Jide said, this is an unconventional warfare. It's asymmetrical. You have guys who are willing to hit and run. It's guerrilla warfare. It's going to be pretty difficult for you to fight in a conventional manner. So I think training is very important. We can learn from those who have had this kind of challenge. And there are many societies that have gone through this kind of experience.
America, for instance, has specialized troops
that can take on asymmetrical warfare. So it's something that is new. Listening to the participants at that event, I did hear, I don't know who exactly now, but the issue of fighting an asymmetrical warfare, came up. And one of the top generals was making reference to these issues that we talked about, investing in technology. Okay. There will be no option to it.
So all 4 of us are in agreement. We must, Jide, Majid, Sam, and my humble self, we must invest in tomorrow's technology today because it is there. Train our troops.
And
have special forces.
We must increase the size of our army.
Yeah.
If we go on like this, if there is a war, we'll be in trouble. The Nigerian army is about 2 million.
Okay.
All the security agencies put together in Nigeria, I don't think they are up to 500,000.
That is okay.
That's why Boko Haram is still strong.
Having a field day.
Yes, because you can't police all of those countries.
Rather than quarrel over whether to have peace corps or not, we should increase the size of the army.
Yes, so that you can position them in different places.
Okay, then, as always, the debate continues. Now, after this break, JAMB officials make U-turn, say 36 million naira not swallowed by snake, but collected by senior officials. You want to stay with us? All right, then, to know complete truthfulness while telling carefully constructed lies is not doublespeak, but a doubly constructed act of corruption. Philomena Chieshe, I hope I got that right, the JAMB official who spun a deliberate yarn about a 36 million naira guzzling snake, has reversed herself. According to Our Lady, who works as a clerk at the Benue office of JAMB, her oga at the top, one Samuel Umoru, was a human snake, in a manner of speaking, that swallowed the money. So, obviously, we are not talking, it's not a home video here.
Yes.
But sometimes it's jarring to the ear when you get to hear certain things.
Yes, maybe long after we are gone. The children coming behind us will make films about these kind of things.
A snake gobbling, a money gobbling snake, and not just 2 snakes, 1 snake swallowing 36 million naira.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you see, God has his reasons for doing many things. But as we can see now, we human beings, we sometimes make God regret his actions and even his inventions. The snake has no way of responding to a lie being told against it. It will just be looking at you like that. It cannot respond. That look, you are such a big fool, you are a liar. Because if the snake were to be in position to defend itself, and not just stop at defending itself, unleashing its venom on a person who lied against it, honestly, nobody will lie against a snake.
The person will die on the spot.
Nobody will lie, because it will be such a massive risk.
I'm sure you know a python. A python swallows a big meal. It cannot move.
Yes.
Apparently, we are saying the snake was supposed to have been stationary after
so that we
swallowing,
can take back our money.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
and
why.
so on.
But in this case, this is a lie told against a snake.
Okay.
Now, we've seen clearly that it's actually a human snake that was involved. Umoru is metaphorically...
I'm happy you didn't say
this,
Sam Umoru.
Umoru.
Samuel Umoru.
Samuel Umoru is the metaphorical
Snake.
is the metaphorical snake that uses an ATM
To swallow
swallow money.
the money.
Yeah.
He uses an ATM, goes to the ATM point, and takes as much money as it likes.
340,000.
But the point is, it's such a massive shame to us as a country. You look at what Ghanaians are saying. Our president offered to support Ghana in this anti-corruption war, and Ghanaians are saying, no, leave us alone.
Go and
Leave us
tackle
alone.
your snake
Go
first.
and fight the money swallowing snake in your country. Transparency International rates us far higher than you.
41. And
81.
Yeah.
You know, in your
Yeah,
own case.
160 something.
So don't come and help us to fight corruption. Go to your country and fight the money guzzling snake. So if this didn't happen, would our president have been insulted on social media like that by Ghanaians? So I want to see that day when this woman and the metaphoric snake, Samuel Umoru, will be
in the dock.
Yes. Teach them a lesson.
But Majid, it takes more than sheer guts for the lady to have reversed herself here.
Let's look at the basics. You look at the highest denomination of currency in Nigeria is 1,000 naira. If you look at 36 million, you will need 2 Ghana must goes to
Yeah,
pack.
depending on the size.
Even as in,
That's a lot of money.
no. You see, I'm saying,
Depending on the size of the bag.
no, I'm
Per
saying,
bundle is 500 naira, 500,000 per bundle.
No, you could have, if it is
100.
1,000,
Yes.
1,000.
yes,
So in that's
you will have 72 pieces you have 72 pieces.
Bundles.
that's what a snake.
Bundles.
Yes, so that's 72. That is if everything is
Majid,
1,000.
Everything
I
is-
know
everything-
you've been using money over time,
No.
so you
No, it's
can
a money
tell.
man.
No, you say, no, because no, we need to understand this, and
Yeah.
which
And
means
look at the size of the snake.
and the size of the
capable
snake,
of swallowing that kind of money.
that kind of stuff.
Anaconda.
If you bring it down home
have
to
to go
a
to South
keg,
America.
if you bring it out to a 50-liter keg, the size of, you need 2 of that to actually take 36 million. So that is what Philomena Sheshe is trying to make Nigerians believe. But then I think reasoning prevailed after so much interrogation by the EFCC.
Yeah.
And she now said, no, the snake man
It's a human snake.
yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
a snake man. And you see, it calls, you now see why there was a lot of fight by civil servants when the federal government was insisting that we should operate a treasury single account that allows a cashless system. They fought that thing to almost to a standstill. They never wanted to comply. Now, even if it is JAMB's money, what was that money doing in Philomena's account in the first instance? That is
Maybe
just
the accountant was
yeah,
on
that's
leave.
that's Benue
Maybe
State.
the
It
accountant
also
was on leave
happened
or something.
in Nasarawa, Kano, even that of Kogi used their own money. In Kogi State, they used 46 million for poverty alleviation. They said people were suffering, so they needed to alleviate
Wanted
their
to help people.
to help people in Kogi State. So it's not only in Benue, but Philomena was just stupid.
Was that right?
It also happened in Nasarawa.
Was that right?
Of course.
To have diverted the money?
No, I said it's wrong.
Okay.
It's
No, I
wrong.
just
So-
wanted to be sure.
No, of course it's wrong. So
Yeah.
that's why they fought. The civil servants fought when the TSA came. Now you see a JAMB that was remitting 51 million per annum for about 10 years, less than 500 million in 10 years. Now remitting 7.8 billion in 2017 alone.
Yeah. Meaning
But me, I don't even want JAMB to be a...
No, it should be a
Money,
revenue. But then,
Because
but
many
the
of
question
those
is,
children out there can't pay JAMB fees.
No, nobody- but-
it's even sometimes in some cases all these politicians
of
and state
course,
governments paying the exam fees.
but it's about, a JAMB form today is 12,500 naira. And it has always been like that.
Why can't they bring it down so that more people be able to afford
15 years ago, it was about 5,000 thereabout.
Yeah.
But then they came out with this issue of recharge cards, where a lot of people were making
Smiling to the bank.
smiling to the banks.
And tells you about a lot of the much free money people are feasting on.
That is it.
Sam, you know, the man at the center of it all, Samuel Umoru.
I think we settled for Umoru, not
Sam,
Samuel.
no, no, we make you
can't
Sam.
reject him at this stage.
we make you Sam, but this man, Samuel Umoru.
Okay.
Samuel Sule
There are a lot
Umoru.
of good Sam out there like you.
He has not denied complicity. He has been granted administrative bail. Yeah. So what do you expect from here?
I expect that the law should take its course, and very quickly too. The sad thing is that we have a system that is quite slow. But they will always tell you that the will of justice grants very slowly. But at the end of the day, justice will prevail. The sad thing we experience in this part of the world is that those who steal from us tend to keep a good percentage of it to fight back.
No, he must hire a good lawyer. Yeah.
So
and I hear there are specialized lawyers for these cases.
Yes.
That's the worry. That's the worry. So I expect that the man and his team should face justice, and very quickly too.
Maybe this is why.
And that the EFCC should do very diligent prosecution, and so that we don't get this wrong.
No, they always do well in this kind of cases with the politicians that they fail.
Because they have plenty of money.
Yahoo boys, they always secure
in 6
conviction
months,
against those small boys.
Are done, so.
But it's the politicians that they can't jail.
Well, Jide, I'm not a lawyer. I would have failed law school anyway. But I'm saying everything is so evident here.
Yeah.
The man has said, yes, I'm complicit. Why should we wait now?
No, we shouldn't. They should just send them to where they belong.
I hear Femi is reaching us from Kaduna. Femi, welcome. Femi, how are you?
Yes, Femi. Yes, I'm fine.
Yeah. Go on, sir.
All right, my name is Femi, calling from Kaduna. Hello?
Femi, go on.
All right. What I want to say is about the Boko Haram issue.
No. Why don't you let us tackle this particular
Snake
matter.
This snake matter.
Okay, the snake matter.
If you are not familiar with the topic, why not do a lot more viewing in? Thank you.
Yes, I can talk on the snake matter, but I would have loved to talk on the snake and the Boko Haram.
No, please, Femi, please. This is a live show. We must go ahead. Okay, so in taking it home, Jide, the EFCC has received a lot of knocks, right, left, center, for its modus in fighting, and it is the key agency here. Because EFCC is also viewing in. What do you tell EFCC now from this table? It's important.
About this matter?
Yeah.
About this matter, they should just tie up the case quickly and ensure that these guys are jailed. Once they secure conviction, it will be credit to the EFCC and it will show up their credibility. They really don't do well with the politically exposed persons. I want to see the EFCC succeed a lot more in convicting the politically exposed persons. And it needs to invest in high-flying lawyers. No doubt about it. All those sounds, good sounds.
No, who? The EFCC?
Yes.
Prosecution also needs good lawyers too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They have to invest in good lawyers.
Yeah.
You know, because it's those good lawyers that will deliver victory to them. So I hope that with better funding, the EFCC can achieve a lot more. Every day when I read in the papers that, one witness has recanted against a big man, look at the former FCT minister. The case had been on for 3 years. Yeah. Now we are hearing one of the witnesses came out to say, no, all those houses that you are saying this man owns, he actually does not own them. That is the kind of setback that the EFCC faces all the time. It happened even with Goje. Goje is being tried in Jos. And the main witness, the main prosecution witness, went to the court and said, procurement process, effective procurement process, it was this Goje that instituted it. We never had anything like procurement. So he brought transparency to Gombe State. I said to, well, if the witness that's supposed to nail Gombe turn themselves to a campaigner for him,
giving him kudos.
So how do you now jail the man?
Now we have no choice but, gentlemen, but believe Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister. He said corruption is worse than diabetes. So you look at a diabetic patient and consider what might be more horrible than his state. So we're in that quandary, Sam.
It is.
We're in that quandary. And in the light of the last ratings by TI, Transparency International, something has to be done.
Yeah, very regrettable. The facts, are out there, and it's a shame that rather than make progress, we are, we are failing, as it were. I mean, it's such a shame when you move. Is it 16 steps? I don't recollect the exact figures now.
But for Philomena, our own corruption came via a snake. But in several other states, like Nasarawa, for example.
No, but I think the issue here is the transparency issue that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Philomena is a metaphor for what's happening at JAMB offices across the country. When you are nailed, you are the man in the middle. But gentlemen, in taking this home, the Ibibio man, the Ibibio, have this saying, God in his infiniteness never thought of making the human ear detachable. That the things you get to hear are horrible. You wish you had left one ear or two ears at home. Put it in your pocket.
And determine what you want to hear.
Oh, yeah. But the danger is leave it at home.
You can wash it with your clothes.
Or snakes can take the ears away. Snakes can swallow it at home.
All right, then. Perhaps you want to know this. An original white-collar crime is tax evasion, and it is as old as the civil service itself. Students of polemics will tell you that the difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance is the same. April 1st, 2018 is the date for tax defaulters or evaders to come to equity or justice. They would face the law, period. Jide, 130,000 supposed tax defaulters. This is a conservative figure.
High profile.
High profile.
Identified.
It's a conservative figure. Could be more.
Yes, and I think that once they put an effective system in place, they will be able to identify more and more of them. I'm happy with the job that the FIRS is doing, generating about 4.033 trillion. In 1 year.
That's marvelous.
Yes, in these difficult times.
They have a new target of 6.7.
They are going to meet their next target because it's, I think it's a revolution that I see going on now. We want government to do so much for us as a people, but we don't want to pay our taxes. The bulk of the taxes that gets paid in Nigeria is the popular payee. So we are,
and maybe company tax.
Yes, just but, the bulk of the people captured in the tax net are those civil servants, payee and all that. Most people don't want to pay any tax, and rich people will just, when they see tax officials, they just bribe them and get away with it. This happened a lot during the last administration. Big companies were not paying tax.
And before then?
They were not paying. So, but now, new things are happening. The government of Muhammadu Buhari is determined to make as much money as possible from taxation. Ambode here in Lagos is determined to ensure that more and more Nigerians residents in Lagos pay their taxes. That's the way it is done
But
elsewhere.
you must be earning something to pay tax.
Yes, there are many people earning a lot who are not paying. That is the point. So once they've identified, because a company that declares dividends, you know, millions of naira every year, should pay tax. Some of our big money men in Nigeria, I'm telling you, they don't like paying tax. Some of the Asians working here in Nigeria, making so much money, they don't want to pay. They've seen.
I hear they bribe the
They
tax
bribe. They
officials
just bribe
and
tax officials. They
are
see
giving
that the
waivers.
system is loose, so they just exploit the situation. So things has to change. I'm happy with the seriousness that is being brought in, although I would not want a situation in which they would tax Nigerians to death. So Lagos State government officials, the federal government people, they should not tax our people to death. And in the Scandinavian countries where you pay more than even 50% of your income as tax, government has provided virtually everything. Your children go to school, they don't pay. Education is free. You have shelter. You don't pay for light. Everything. So light is there, and infrastructure is there for everyone to enjoy. So you don't need to spend so much. But in this case, we provide light for ourselves. I've not had light since Tuesday last week. We provide water for yourself.
Roads.
You provide your own security. In our communities, resident associations will come together and build roads for ourselves.
Yeah.
So that is the only thing. But I think that the income from taxation in our country will go up with the new determination to get more people into the tax net.
For those of us who are given to religion, Christianity, they tell you that the Holy Writ emphasize, even Jesus the Christ talked about your paying tax.
Yes. When it said, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
That's,
I only hope that we have the mechanism and the human resources to effect this. I mean, it's a good thing. Most developed economies rely on tax. UK, there's no way you can evade a tax in UK.
And the punishment is stiff.
The punishment is very, very stiff. And I listened to the Lagos State Governor, for example, yesterday while he was talking about, taxation to corporate Lagos. And he said, we have a population of between 22 and 24 million people in Lagos. And out of these, 8 million are eligible, are taxable. But out of the 8 million that are taxable, less than 500,000 actually are in the tax net.
You don't say.
Yes. And the vice president made a statement once that only 914,000 people pay tax in Nigeria.
Across the country?
Across the country.
Of 180 million?
Of 180 million people.
Some don't believe that.
And out of the 914,000, more than 900,000 are in the southwest. Yes, wow. It is as bad as that.
Maybe the southwest.
You put a figure to what they pay.
No, that pays 20 million and above.
Yes.
Yeah. There's more money in the southwest. That's not.
And even brought it down to Lagos. No, we are saying that.
But there are millionaires.
There are millionaires in other parts of the country.
They don't pay.
They
We're
don't
talking about millionaires in the southwest who pay.
But we should bring more people into the tax net. That is it.
Sam, my worry is this: April 1st is the due date for commencement of this, punishing tax evaders and so on. But well, I know we are not talking about All Fools' Day. Yeah. April 1st is the day. Plateau State seems to have been ahead of it. The bill had been signed into law. They are beginning to take people to court for evading. Are the courts there? Do you know that much? These special courts?
I don't know so much about these special courts. I think that from what the government has said, it is a fresh initiative to ensure that the obstructions that you have within the regular courts don't act as don't act as spanner in the wheel of progress. So yeah, if these things are done and we go through the processes and the right things are done according to the law, fantastic. I want to share the opinion of our other colleagues that we've seen a lot of improvement, a lot of efficiency in the system. And I think that what has worked or is working for us at the moment is that there is a greater reliance on data. Most societies that we rank as advanced today have been so ranked because they are a lot more scientific in their approach to governance. So it's good to hear that government is beginning to feast on data, is beginning to rely on data in terms of planning. And I think that is what is key. If we need special courts to make quick progress, so be it, as long as it's done within the constitution of the country.
But who makes the laws that will establish these courts? The National Assembly.
Of course.
Because I'm listening.
We need to tax their income too. Because
maybe your worry here.
It should begin from there.
Yeah, maybe because the data that we have, 130,000, high profile. Of course, we know the class that belongs to the high profile. Those who earn so much and who don't want to disclose. Who don't want to disclose how much they earn. We know them. So, I think that the April 1 date should stick.
All right, Jide. The other leg to this discussion is the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration System, VAIDS, V-A-I-D-S.
Yes.
We hardly declare assets here.
But it's in our own interest to do that because these people will find out.
Which people?
They call the government of the day. They are working so hard at it. Look,
data.
They will find out.
There was a window. There was a VAIDS window which closes. No, which closed. It started from July
1st last year. Yeah, closing
ending
March
31st of March.
Yeah.
The VAIDS window allows you to come and declare and even negotiate.
Yes.
I mean, if you have been abstaining from paid tax on the past, God knows when, you can come and say, well, I ought to have paid 1 million, but I have 200,000, or I have even the 1 million to pay, but I want to spread it over a particular period of time. Even if it's beyond the March 31st date, it's allowed. But then, if you now decide that, well, it's Nigeria,
let the heavens fall.
Yeah. Now, you have your unique identification system, except you don't operate a bank. All your bank accounts are linked with the new band. There's this new universal, the 10-digit new band account number that has your BVN linked to all the accounts, all your banks you have. So, and even the driver's license. They
have access to your income.
They have access to your income. So the 130,000 net worth Nigerians that are under this thing now is from the NIPS. So it's better for Nigerians to take up this initiative and take up this window, including all of us here, and go and declare.
And we have 23 days to go.
Yeah,
before VAIDS window closes.
Before it closes.
The National Assembly must make this law. That's my area of interest now. They must make this law.
Yes.
Establishing the special court.
Yes. You see, the thing
time is of the essence.
It's in our best interest as a nation. We must agree that things have to change. We can't continue to do things the way we used to, because I know that change is always difficult for people to embrace, but all developed nations rely heavily on tax. In many countries of Europe, the punishment for manslaughter is not as grievous, it's not as grave as the punishment for tax evasion.
Yeah. In fact, we remember...
They take tax evasion as one of the biggest crimes against the state. That means you want to cripple the state.
It's a white-collar crime.
So we too must, as a nation, we should begin to develop along that line.
The figures Jamil reeled out were surprising to me. Gentlemen, I hear we must go, but we have all paid our tax. At least for the last
Yes,
month.
yes.
I
From
did.
our salary.
Mine was deducted.
And it's
at
hefty.
source.
I think the advice too will go to organizations that make these drawings to
Yeah.
ensure that they also remit same.
Yeah.
As and when due.
Yeah.
Okay, that will just about do it. Let me thank Sam Ibemere.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
My pleasure.
Mojid Jamiu, many thanks for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Babajide Kolade Otitoju, we can't thank you enough.
I greet you.
Okay, there's another program for tomorrow, but then join us for a repeat of this program tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at TVC. Come on, let me get that right, at tvcnews.tv. Well, I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye now.